Coming up next, we're taking a trip into the working lives of various young people and adults and looking at how challenging it is to accomplish our dreams with various obstacles lives throw at us. Get ready for a great episode of The Journal. Hello, I'm Katya Kovalenko.
And I'm Jose Taboada. Welcome to this week's edition of The Journal.
Broadcasting to you live from the Centennial College Story Arts Center.
Let's get this going. Toronto has been labeled the most multicultural city in the world, something we should definitely be proud of. We get new culture, ideas, and friendships from all across the world and offer many families a chance to escape unsafe conditions such as poverty and war. However, sometimes coming to Canada can be a hard experience.
Imagine restarting your life in a new country. Many immigrants coming to Canada can run into many problems. Sometimes members of their own family are left behind, and oftentimes it's very hard to get a job that can pay the bills. We're about to see the story of Roshan Giri, who moved here from Nepal. Let's take a look.
Very big, it's very complicated. People from different countries from the world, they come to Toronto. They come with a different dream. I went several places to find a job. I did not get a job. It's very, very tough for me for a few months. First of all, we have to know the language. I had a contact with one of Nepali guy, so he told me, one of my friend has a restaurant, so if you want to work in the restaurant, so you can go. It's very expensive, so the rental also very high, so everything is very high, so that's why I was stuck in that job for 8 months. So one day I was going in that restaurant. On my way, so one guy told me, looking for jobs. Yeah, I said, yeah, if you want a job, come to my office. I was so surprised. I didn't go to my job that day, so I come back to my home and I talk with my wife, and she also so surprised. So next day I went to the office. So the guy told me, so after 3 days I'll call you. So he took my contact number. So after 3 days he called me. One of the guy took me in one room and he asked me so many questions. So I told him, so this type of job I never did in my life, so I can try. If anybody teach me, so I can do. So I said like that. Later on I found this, so the guy who offered me the job is my manager. In 2010 we came here, only 3 families. So after that some of our people start coming from our country. So I went and I did a volunteer to them. So and I find the apartment for them in the same building. So he knew that I'm doing some volunteer job, so that maybe he thought that he can do this type of job. That's why he offered me. I never think this job is my job, but I think this is my home. So this is my work. So I do anytime. I don't care about the time. So sometimes I do till 7 o'clock. Sometimes I do till 8 o'clock. Never lose your hope. Keeps on trying. So one day you will definitely succeed. My name is Roshan, and now I'm working in the cabaret as a maintenance guy.
Never lose hope indeed. That last piece was some great insight into life as a new Canadian. And Kat, didn't you immigrate here to Canada as well?
Yeah, I immigrated about 11 years ago, so I was only 10. And when my parents broke the news to me, I decided that no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here with my friends, where I have a life. In Canada, I don't know anyone or anything. And the only way my sister was able to convince me was telling me that I'm going to meet Avril Lavigne, who I was a big fan of at the time. And I came here, and guess who I didn't meet?
You didn't meet Avril Lavigne, did you?
I still haven't met Avril Lavigne.
See, you learn something new every day. Next, we're going to look at a young student who not only studies university, but also works at his church as the youth minister.
Wow, that's really impressive. I can't think of a way that he can handle so much work.
Yeah, well, maybe we can see how to handle the stress with this next piece. Let's take a look.
Hi, I am John Ragosi. I go to school at York University and I am majoring in music and minoring in religious studies. So my position here is I am a youth minister and music minister with the Salesians of Don Bosco in St. Benedict's. I went on a retreat when I was in grade 9, okay? And at this point I had my conversion, like I had experienced Christ, I really knew who he was, and I was like, wow, like my heart was on fire. But it wasn't until grade 11 where I met the Salesians and I went on a retreat with them. And this was like incomprehensible. This is the first time where I had all of these like leaders who were there who were adults and who were also like just a little bit older than me, like grade 12. And they were fun. Then I got involved the year after with more things, and then eventually they asked me if I would be interested in coming on in a paid position and working as youth minister and music minister, and it's the best thing ever. When I say job, because it's not a job, this is the best thing in the world, and I am able to be paid for it, and it's like I haven't worked a day in my life here. Starting off these visitation events, it's a night of worship of our Lord. That's accompanied with music, praise and worship music, and it really has just exploded. Where now we have, on average, 150 attendees every time, and it usually goes up higher than that, where you have 200. And with that 50%, I counted. I looked at the photo that we took. 50% of the people who come out are teens or young people, and so I think that's really how God like wanted me here. My role was like, I need to use your music in this way for this ministry.
I went on a retreat called Gospel Roads, and that was sort of the Kickstarter for my entire, well, whatever I'm doing now. Now working at St. Benedict's Parish as a member of the core team, I have an excellent opportunity to just be myself and show how Jesus loves me, and hopefully by that example I can show it to others. And with John's an excellent role model, so just following in his footsteps, and he follows in the footsteps of Jesus and trying to emulate Jesus by taking the words of the saints and taking the words of the gospel and just really living that.
Everything that I am doing, that when I leave, when the Lord calls me to something else, that it really wasn't about me, was never about me. That when I leave and my musical gifts leave and my gifts of joy or relational ministry, when that goes away, the Lord still provides here, and like that will still be present here. There's still going to be music ministry here. There's musicians who've been trained, and then they're going to train more musicians, and so it really teaches me humility. Teaches me my role now is not I am mentoring. It's more I am a servant who's just laying down the formation like a farmer, tilling the soil, waters it, and then he goes away, and then God does the rest of the work.
The name of the person who made that documentary seemed oddly familiar.
You're really funny, aren't you, Kat?
Well, sarcasm aside, how about you tell us what the idea was behind the documentary?
Well, I mean, I've known John for almost 5 years, actually just over 5 years, and he's been a really big inspiration to me in my life, and I've seen him grow into the position that he is today. And, he's a great, mentor to not only our team, but like I said, to me especially. So he's like a brother to me, pretty much.
Thanks for that, Jose. Our next piece looks at what problem, Jose?
It looks at a problem that many young people go through these days, myself included, when they graduate from high school. According to the Toronto Star, 1 in 6 students drop out of their first year of college or university. A stigma has emerged where many high school graduates feel pressured by parents to go straight to post-secondary. This results in a lot of young people paying for large sums of subjects they do not want to pursue. How do you feel about that, Kat?
Well, I myself took 2 years off, and I think in the end it really helped me figure out what I wanted to study. So a year or two off really isn't such a bad thing.
I agree, Ken, and I wish I did that myself. So let's take a look at our next piece.
I am Nell Godoy. I'm a student from Humber College. I'm in the program ECE, Early Childhood Education. After the first semester of going into ECE, Early Childhood Education, I knew this was not for me. Like, I just did not enjoy it one bit. It was just such a pain. I'm still an honor roll student. I'm still top of my class, but it's still, you know, it's just not great for me. I really hate ECE. It was just something I didn't know what I wanted to do getting out of high school, so my parents basically picked for me until I could figure, like, they said just get a diploma or degree in something, and once you figure out what it is you want to do, then pursue that. But in the meantime, just pick something so you can sustain yourself in future. High school was the best. High school, it was so much fun. I graduated with honor roll, and I didn't even try. I definitely prefer high school over college. College, I don't know anyone. I don't really have any friends in my college. Right. I would say to teenagers like myself, to if they don't know what they want to do, if they don't know what they want to do with their life, they don't know what kind of career they want to do. My advice to them is to really look at their passions. If they like video games, get into like maybe the video games. You can design, create, story write, but there's many things you could do for video game. Or if you want to become like an artist, there's architect, there's interior designer, interior decorator. There's many fields out there. If music is your passion, maybe become like a disc jockey or music writer, or even own your own shop or something like that. Just take your passions and turn them into your careers if you don't know what you want to do with your life. Now I know what I'm going to do. Now I know that from ECE I'm going to go into teachers college, and possibly after a couple of years get into a private school and teach there.
Welcome back, everyone. I think that last piece really connects with students nowadays. I think we all remember the pressure put on us in grade 12. Next, we have another piece also related to school, the story of a teacher who inspires his students. With all the stress that society creates, many young people with hard home life look to teachers as role models. Teachers play a vital role in the growth and the education of young people. We see how big of an impact they can make coming up. Let's watch.
My name is Martin Gordon. I am the senior tech teacher at North Heights Secondary School. I've been teaching for the past 16 years. I remember my first practicum. I went to high school to do my practicum, and there's this one young man. He always comes to class late. He's late every single day. And the last day of school, I had to bring my portfolio in to show the kids what I've done as a professional artist. And when I brought the portfolio in and I opened, he said, "Oh my God, Mr. Gordon, this is exactly what I want to do. I want to be just like you when I grow up. I want to be a teacher or a graphic artist." I said, "Yes, I've got one." It's if in a short period of time, if I was able to reach one student, imagine what I could do in my entire career.
He's really funny and he's so caring. Like if something's wrong with me, he'll just look in my eyes and be like, "Are you okay?" And then he'll make me come after class and talk to me. And one time he considered giving me lunch money.
I'm a teacher at Northview Heights, and I teach technological design. I've known Mr. Gordon for about 15 years. What I found is that he really is dedicated toward the learning and the teaching environment. So he creates a classroom that is warm, fun to be with, but at the same time, it's dedicated to real learning.
When I first saw him, he looked like this big, muscular guy who looked scary and intimidating. And like I was always scared. Like I'd always think that he would be yelling at me all the time. But after over the years, he was like all nice and soft, and like you look past all that muscle.
Other teachers are more like just teach what they need to teach and get the semester over with. And Mr. Gordon makes it more of like a personal thing. Like he makes sure that he gets to know the student and make sure that they have a good semester.
I don't know, he's just a funny guy, but when he needs to be serious, he be serious. But when he teaches, he makes jokes and he makes us feel comfortable around him.
I'm proud of you guys. I really am. I even had the same conversation with my grade 9 class this morning. I paused the class and said to them, I am so proud of you, what you're doing. I'm so proud of the work ethics that you guys have. I was very proud of them.
Welcome back, everyone. Up next, we have a very talented young artist named Mary Death performing live on our show. She's part of the Toronto band, the Anti-Queens. Let's give her a warm welcome.
Hi, I'm going to play you a song I wrote called Diagnose Me. Dear doctor, diagnose me today. Can you tell me why I'm feeling this way? Is it all in my head? Or should I just go back to bed? Dear doctor, what is it like to know that everything will be alright? I wanna feel like myself again and stop being a pessimistic friend. But it must be easier for you. Your degree helped you pay off your dues, and you got your wealth, but I got my health. So I should stop feeling sorry for myself. Oh, doctor, why does this topic so sad? Is there music running through my veins? 'Cause it's the only thing that makes me feel alive. And without it, I feel I would die. But it must be easier for you. Your degree helped you pay off your dues, and you got your wealth, but I got my health. So I should stop feeling sorry for myself. Yeah, I should stop feeling sorry for myself. Yeah, I should stop feeling sorry for myself. Yeah, I should stop feeling sorry for myself.
Thank you so much, Mary. What an amazing performance. And Kat, I heard that you knew her and the Anti-Queens before our show today?
Yeah, Mary and I go a bit back, more like last semester, where I did a documentary on her and the band, which was a really amazing experience, by the way.
That's amazing. Well, with all this musical talk in the air, our next piece is about a young rap artist in Toronto and his experience getting into the music scene. Please be advised, however, that the next piece contains some mature language, so viewer discretion is advised. Let's watch.
This is PJ, aka Black Swan, and I'm here to talk about how, or basically the process it takes for me to write a track or a song. So basically what I normally start with is the beat, and I would freestyle to the beat in my head, and from that I can grasp a rhythm of how I want my flow to go. Rhythm is basically the first thing that I want to catch, a certain rhythm, and then I could easily drop my lyrics onto whatever rhythm that I've chosen to rap to. So then, after I put my lyrics in bits and pieces together, I go through it a couple times, rap it over, you know, talking to myself, make sure I memorize my own lyrics in my head. And, you know, I would rap it to a couple friends, see if they like it.
What they living in, whoever you could be with, it's still synonyms, and my antonyms still going, and my similes and metaphors spitting out, flowing. Tell me how I'm showing. Got to the gun, still knowing AK-47 still showing. I'm the motherfucker who hates motherfuckers, get it? We roll splits and think about it. Just think about it, hold on to yourself for a minute. I used to put my brain on a sentence, 25 to life. I ain't living that shit and ended with a knife like suicide. Call back on the homicide, but everybody thinking that I'm trippy and silly. Fuck that, cause these niggas done know that they miss me. I'm like,
when my mom passed, I didn't start rapping. I started listening to rap more. And then I kind of wanted to, that kind of got me into rapping. I kind of wanted to express myself in some sort of way. So I used to walk around and rap over the songs that I was listening to. And then by the time I reached Stephen Leacock, my last high school that I went to before college, I ended up meeting my friend Ronak, and then after we started doing a couple things in the studio at the school, and then we eventually started hitting actual studios and making a couple of tracks. Actually made a couple of tracks, and I felt I was to get into the studio for the first time. And to say the least, it's not as easy as it looks when you see other people do. You know, it's pretty nerve-wracking, especially. I don't know if it's just for me because I'm nervous about it, but it's pretty nerve-wracking. But after a while, you get used to it. You develop a feel for it. It kind of becomes second nature to you after a while, right? It was a fun night. We could have done a better video, but like it was fun. Like I enjoyed the experience of actually coming together with the group and waking up early and meeting together and be like, yeah, we're getting this done, spending loot or whatever. You know, it felt nice. And even if the video is not like what we would have expected it to be, we still went out and got something done at the end of the day, you know? Even up to now, we still go out in the cold and make sacrifices to get what we have done, man. I enjoy doing what I do in any type of weather still, instead of blizzards, because blizzards are fucked. blizzards and heavy rain and all that shit. But yeah, any you know, I don't really mind. The cold won't really get to me, you know. I'll do what I have to do still.
Welcome back, everyone. Jose, what's with the getup?
It's my Latino rapper attire.
I don't even know how I'm going to comment because we have more important things to get onto, like what our last piece is going to be.
Fine. But can I keep the hat on?
Fine.
Yes!
All right, the last doc for today's episode of The Journal is about life as a dog walker in Toronto. Did you know that Toronto's West End is actually having a severe dog poop problem? With so many dog owners in the area, such as High Park, there's a large amount of dog feces that is not picked up, and the city is looking for solutions on how to fix it.
I guess walking around, it must be like some sort of minefield, and I don't think I'll take anyone on a date in Hyde Park anytime soon. Let's take a look at that piece.
Funny enough, it kind of chose me. For a while, I was a stay-at-home dad, and as the kids got older and were going to school, I started wondering about what was I going to do next that would allow me to still walk the kids to school and be there at 3 p.m. to pick them up and walk them home again, and sort of maintain that stay-at-home dadness about it. And dog walking just kind of happened because most people want their dogs walked in the middle of the day when they're at the office. And they don't want them walked too early and they don't want them walked too late. So working between 9 and 3 really fits. For me, it just sort of started out, I had Rolo, my Sheltie puppy, and he was very energetic. We were walking all the time. And one of my neighbors needed to have double knee surgery, and she asked me if I'd walk her dog. And within a month from starting walking Gizmo, I was walking 3 dogs on the block, and it just kind of grew organically from there. And now I walk 10, 12, 15 dogs a day, depending on the day and the time. The schedule's always changing. When I add a dog, I don't take on a large group of dogs at once. We add a new one to the group, and there may be some growling and some posturing, but they're told in no uncertain terms that's not acceptable. I borrow a line from somebody when I say, look, I pick up the poop, but I don't take any crap. The dogs know that they have to know that I'm in charge, and they follow my rules, and we all have a good time. Interesting thing about the dogs is, unlike teenagers, they actually behave better in large groups. I find it easier to walk 6 dogs than 2, because their behaviors moderate each other, and if one's pulling this way and one's pulling that way, I'm just holding in the middle, and I don't have to do the work about it. They balance each other quite nicely. You have to love dogs, and you really have to focus on safety and security. I mean, nobody likes to give a stranger a key to their house. But that's my reference list. And when everybody gives me their keys, they go on here. I never leave the house without them being tied to me, and nothing's labeled. So if they did ever go missing, nobody's security is compromised. You don't want to leave somebody's house vulnerable, and we certainly don't want anybody's dog to get hurt. That's why I keep them on leash until we're in the yard or we're at the dog park or someplace that's secure. The city is most concerned with protecting themselves, so in order to get a commercial dog walker license, you have to prove to the city that you have $1 million in liability coverage, so that if a dog you're walking in a park or on the sidewalk bites somebody, that the city knows that they're protected. You need $230 to pay for it. Now, I've been at it 4 years now, and touch wood and otherwise, we've had no major emergencies. And but again, I'm really careful. I make sure that the dogs are always leashed. They're never off leash in an uncontained area, and I use a carabiner to keep all my leashes clipped together, so that everybody is kept together as a group.
Where can people go to find you?
Well, they can find me, out walking here in Willowdale. But my website has everything about me, and I'd be happy to talk to anybody about it.
Well, that seems to be all the time we have for this week's episode. We've seen a lot of great work displayed today, all in the genre of work-related stories.
I absolutely agree, Kat. Definitely some great stories and musical performances. Make sure to tune into the Journal 4 days a week, live at 2:30, broadcasting from the Centennial College Story Arts Center.
I'm Kat Kovalenko.
And I'm Jose Taboada.
Thanks for tuning in to the Journal.